He noticed something subtle yet profound. The mind becomes exhausted not because life is difficult, but because it never stops speaking about life. It replays the past, predicts the future, judges the present, and rarely allows itself a single moment of true rest. Even joy becomes noisy when the mind clings to it. Even silence becomes uncomfortable when the mind fears what it might reveal. This is why silence feels unsettling to so many people. The moment the external noise fades, the internal noise grows louder. Thoughts rush in, memories surface, unresolved emotions demand attention. And instead of seeing this as a doorway to healing, most people immediately reach for distraction. They scroll, they talk, they consume, they stay busy. Not because they want stimulation, but because they are afraid of what stillness might uncover. The Buddha understood that this fear is not weakness. It is conditioning. The mind has been trained to survive through constant alertness. For thousands of years, vigilance meant safety. But what once protected us now quietly harms us. In today's world, the danger is no longer the wild animal or the approaching storm. The danger is chronic stress, unresolved trauma, emotional overload, and a nervous system that never receives the signal that it is safe to rest. Modern neuroscience now confirms what the Buddha observed through direct awareness. When the mind is constantly stimulated, the brain remains locked in a state of sympathetic activation. Stress hormones like cortisol remain elevated. The body stays tense. Digestion slows. Immunity weakens. Sleep becomes shallow. Healing becomes difficult. Over time, this constant internal noise manifests as anxiety, depression, inflammation, chronic pain, and emotional numbness. Silence, however, sends a different message to the body. Silence tells the nervous system that it is safe. When external noise reduces and internal narration softens, the brain shifts into parasympathetic mode. Heart rate slows, breathing deepens, muscles release their grip, blood flow improves. The body begins repairing itself. This is not philosophy, this is physiology. Silence is not just spiritual, it is biological. The Buddha did not ask his followers to believe this, he asked them to observe it. He taught that when you sit in silence, you are not doing nothing. You are allowing the mind to return to its natural state, a state that exists beneath thought, beneath emotion, beneath identity. A state that modern psychology might call regulation and ancient wisdom simply called peace. But this peace does not arrive immediately. And this is where many people give up. At first, silence feels chaotic. Thoughts become louder. The mind resists. The body fidgets. Old emotions surface. This is not failure. This is the mind detoxing from constant stimulation. Just as the body reacts when it stops consuming sugar or caffeine, the mind reacts when it is no longer fed endless input. The Buddha compared the mind to a muddy pond. When stirred constantly, the water remains cloudy. But when left undisturbed, the mud naturally settles and the water becomes clear. Silence is not about forcing clarity, it is about allowing the disturbance to stop. Modern trauma research echoes this truth. Healing does not occur when we constantly analyze, fix, or suppress emotions. Healing occurs when the nervous system feels safe enough to process what it has been holding. Silence creates that safety. It gives emotions space to rise and fall without judgment. It allows the brain to integrate experiences instead of endlessly looping them. This is why silence can feel emotional. Tears may come without reason. Sadness may surface without a story. Relief may appear unexpectedly. These are signs of release, not breakdown. The body remembers what the mind has tried to forget, and silence gives it permission to let go. The Buddha taught that suffering continues not because pain exists, but because we cling to noise. We cling to explanation. We cling to control. Silence interrupts this cycle. It creates a gap, and in that gap, healing begins. This gap is small at first, a few seconds between thoughts, a brief pause between reactions, but even these small moments change the brain. Studies show that regular periods of silence increase gray matter in areas associated with emotional regulation, self-awareness, and compassion. Silence strengthens the brain's ability to observe without reacting. This is the foundation of mental resilience. The Buddha called this awareness, not concentration, not suppression. Awareness. Awareness allows thoughts to pass without becoming commands, emotions to arise without becoming identities, sensations to be felt without becoming suffering. Silence is the environment in which awareness grows. And this is why silence feels powerful, because it removes the illusion that the mind must always be in control. It reveals that peace is not something you create. It is something you uncover. Most people believe peace will arrive when life becomes quiet, when problems end, when answers are found. The Buddha reversed this idea. He showed that when the mind becomes quiet, life becomes manageable. Problems lose their grip. Answers arise naturally. Clarity replaces confusion, not through effort, but through stillness. This is not withdrawal from life. It is intimacy with life. Silence does not make you passive. It makes you precise. It sharpens perception. It deepens empathy. It restores energy. It reconnects you with the present moment, which is the only place healing ever happens. As we move deeper into this journey, something important must be understood. Silence is not an absence you fall into. It is a presence you return to. It has always been there, beneath the noise, waiting patiently. In the next part of this journey, we will explore how silence directly rewires the brain, heals emotional wounds stored in the nervous system, and why even a few minutes a day can transform anxiety, overthinking, and mental fatigue in ways that no amount of external stimulation ever can. For now, simply notice this moment. Between this sentence and the next, that quiet space is not empty. It is alive, and it is where your healing begins. There is a subtle shift that happens when silence is no longer something you avoid, but something you allow. At first, it feels like standing at the edge of a vast ocean, uncertain whether the water will hold you or pull you under. The mind hesitates. It searches for something familiar to grab onto. A thought, a memory, a sound, anything to reassert control. But if you stay, even for a few breaths, something extraordinary begins to unfold. The brain exhales. This is not poetic language. It is literal. Neuroscience shows that when external stimulation drops and internal narration softens, the brain's default stress circuits begin to deactivate. The amygdala, the region responsible for threat detection, reduces its constant scanning. The prefrontal cortex, overwhelmed by decision-making and self-monitoring, loosens its grip. For the first time in a long while, the mind is no longer bracing for impact. The Buddha described this as the mind returning home. He observed that most human suffering is not caused by reality, but by the mind's relentless interpretation of reality. Every sensation becomes a story. Every emotion becomes an identity. Every challenge becomes a threat. Silence interrupts this chain reaction. It creates a pause between stimulus and response, and in that pause, freedom appears. Modern psychology now recognizes this pause as the space where emotional regulation lives. When the mind is constantly stimulated, it loses the ability to distinguish between real danger and imagined threat. Emails feel urgent, opinions feel personal, uncertainty feels intolerable. The nervous system stays on high alert, even when the body is safe. Silence retrains this system. When you sit in silence, without trying to fix or analyze anything, the brain begins to reorganize itself. Neural pathways associated with rumination weaken. Pathways associated with presence strengthen. Over time, the mind learns that it does not need constant input to survive. It learns that stillness is not danger. It is safety. This is especially important for emotional wounds that were never fully processed. Trauma is not stored as a memory alone. It is stored as a pattern of tension, vigilance, and suppressed sensation in the body. Talking about trauma can help, but talking alone does not always heal it. Healing requires the nervous system to experience safety in the present moment. Silence provides that experience. The Buddha did not label this as trauma healing, but he understood its mechanism. He taught that when awareness rests gently on the present moment, without judgment, old conditioning loses its power. Not because it is confronted, but because it is no longer fed. In silence, the body begins to release what it has been holding. The jaw unclenches, the shoulders soften, the breath deepens. These are not conscious decisions. They are signs that the nervous system is shifting out of survival mode. Scientific studies have shown that even brief periods of silence can reduce blood pressure, improve heart rate variability, and increase activity in the brain's healing networks. Silence allows the brain to enter a state of neural integration, where different regions communicate more harmoniously. This is why moments of insight often arise in quiet. The mind is no longer fragmented. The Buddha emphasized that insight does not come from thinking harder. It comes from seeing clearly. And clarity requires space. This space is what silence creates. As the mind settles, another layer reveals itself. Beneath the surface thoughts, there is a constant hum of subtle tension, a background anxiety that many people mistake for normal. It is the feeling that something needs to be done, fixed, achieved, or avoided. Silence brings this hum into awareness, not to amplify it, but to dissolve it. When this tension is met with presence rather than resistance, it begins to unwind. The body realizes it no longer needs to protect itself from an invisible threat. The mind realizes it does not need to narrate every moment. This realization is deeply relieving. The Buddha referred to this relief as the end of unnecessary suffering. He taught that pain is part of life, but suffering is optional. Suffering arises when the mind argues with reality, when it clings to what should be and resists what is. Silence reveals reality without commentary. It allows life to be experienced directly, without distortion. For many people, this direct experience feels unfamiliar at first. We are conditioned to live inside our thoughts, not inside our senses. Silence gently brings attention back to the body, to the breath, to the simple fact of being alive. This grounding effect is one of silence's greatest healing powers. Modern somatic psychology emphasizes this same principle. Healing occurs when awareness returns to the body, when sensation is felt without judgment, when the present moment is experienced as safe. Silence makes this possible because it removes the constant mental noise that pulls attention away from the body. As this reconnection deepens, emotional resilience grows. Situations that once triggered intense reactions begin to lose their charge. Not because you suppress emotion, but because you no longer drown in it. The mind learns to observe without collapsing. This is emotional maturity, not detachment. The Buddha called this equanimity. Equanimity does not mean indifference, it means stability. It means being fully present without being overwhelmed. Silence is the training ground for this stability. Each moment of quiet strengthens the mind's capacity to remain centered amidst change. This is why silence is not escapism, it is preparation. A mind that knows silence responds to life differently. It listens more deeply. It reacts less impulsively. It chooses with clarity instead of compulsion. It recognizes that not every thought deserves attention, and not every emotion requires action. Neuroscience shows that this shift is measurable. The brain's default mode network, responsible for self-referential thinking and mental chatter, becomes less dominant. At the same time, networks associated with present moment awareness and empathy become more active. This is not spiritual theory, it is neural rewiring. The Buddha achieved this transformation without machines, without measurements, without terminology. He simply observed the mind with unwavering honesty. He saw that silence was not something to be feared, but something to be cultivated. Yet he also warned that silence must be approached gently. Forcing stillness creates tension. True silence arises from allowance, not control. This is why so many people struggle when they try to stop thinking. The mind resists force. It softens with kindness. Silence is not achieved by pushing thoughts away. It is discovered by letting them pass. As you continue this journey, you may begin to notice small changes, a little more patience, a little less reactivity, a deeper breath before responding. These are signs that the nervous system is healing, that the mind is learning to trust stillness. In the next part of this journey, we will explore how silence influences physical health, immune function, aging, and energy levels, and why ancient wisdom and modern medicine are now converging on the same truth. Silence is not passive. It is active restoration, and the more you allow it, the more your entire being remembers how to heal itself. There comes a point on this path where silence is no longer just something the mind experiences. It begins to move deeper into the body itself. You may notice it in subtle ways at first, a sense of warmth spreading through the chest, a deeper, slower breath without effort, a feeling of heaviness in the limbs that is not fatigue but release. These sensations are not imagination. They are signals that the body is remembering something ancient. The Buddha understood that the mind and body are not separate systems. Long before modern medicine spoke of psychosomatic illness or mind-body connection, he observed that unresolved mental agitation inevitably manifests as physical suffering. Tension becomes pain, worry becomes illness, fear becomes exhaustion. Silence interrupts this cascade at its source. Modern health science now confirms what he saw through awareness alone. Chronic noise, both external and internal, keeps the body in a constant state of stress. This stress disrupts hormones, weakens immunity, accelerates aging, and interferes with the body's natural repair mechanisms. The body does not break down suddenly. It slowly loses the conditions required to heal. Silence restores those conditions. When the nervous system enters a state of calm, the body shifts resources away from survival and toward regeneration. Cells repair themselves more efficiently. Inflammation reduces. The immune system becomes more responsive. Even gene expression begins to change. Studies in epigenetics show that stress and calm can literally switch genes on and off. Silence is not just soothing, it is instructive at a cellular level. The Buddha did not speak in terms of genes, but he spoke of balance. He taught that health arises when the mind is neither grasping nor resisting. Silence naturally cultivates this balance. It brings the body out of extremes and back into rhythm. One of the most overlooked aspects of silence is its effect on breathing. In noisy, overstimulated states, breathing becomes shallow and irregular. This deprives the body of oxygen and keeps the nervous system alert. In silence, the breath naturally slows and deepens. This signals safety to the brainstem, which then communicates calm throughout the entire body. Breath is the bridge between mind and body. The Buddha emphasized awareness of breathing not as a technique, but as a doorway. When you sit in silence and allow the breath to move freely, you are allowing the body to guide the mind back to equilibrium. This is why silence often feels restorative in ways sleep does not. Sleep is essential, but if the nervous system remains dysregulated, sleep alone cannot fully repair the body. Silence, even while awake, provides a quality of rest that penetrates deeper than unconsciousness. It allows healing while awareness remains present. Many people are surprised to discover that silence can be energizing. This seems counterintuitive in a culture that equates stimulation with vitality. But true energy does not come from excitement. It comes from efficiency. A calm nervous system uses less energy to maintain basic functions, leaving more available for creativity, movement, and connection. The Buddha's followers often described him as radiating vitality, even in old age. Even after long periods of fasting or walking, this vitality did not come from physical strength alone. It came from a mind that did not waste energy on unnecessary struggle. Modern research on aging supports this observation. Chronic stress accelerates cellular aging by shortening telomeres, the protective caps on chromosomes. Calm, regulated states slow this process. Practices that cultivate silence, such as meditation and mindful stillness, have been shown to preserve telomere length, suggesting a slower biological aging process. Silence, then, is not just about peace of mind. It is about longevity. The immune system also responds powerfully to silence. Stress suppresses immune response, making the body more vulnerable to illness. Calm states enhance immune surveillance and repair. Silence reduces the inflammatory markers associated with autoimmune conditions, heart disease, and neurodegenerative disorders. The Buddha did not promise immortality, but he taught that a peaceful mind supports a healthy body. He understood that healing is not something imposed from outside. It is something allowed from within. Another profound effect of silence is its influence on pain perception. Pain is not purely physical. It is shaped by attention, emotion, and expectation. In silence, the mind learns to observe sensation without immediately labeling it as threat. This reduces suffering, even when discomfort remains. Modern pain research echoes this principle. When attention is calm and non-reactive, pain signals are processed differently in the brain. The intensity decreases, the emotional charge softens. Silence trains the brain to respond rather than panic. This does not mean ignoring pain. It means meeting it without fear. The Buddha taught that resistance amplifies suffering. Silence removes resistance. It allows sensations to move through the body without becoming stories. This is why many people experience relief from chronic pain when they cultivate stillness, even without changing their physical condition. As silence deepens, another layer of healing emerges. Emotional patterns stored in the body begin to surface and release. The chest may feel tight and then soften. The stomach may churn and then settle. These are signs of emotional digestion. Emotions are energy in motion. When suppressed, they stagnate. Silence allows them to complete their natural cycle. This is not cathartic expression. It is gentle integration. The Buddha emphasized compassion toward one's own experience. Silence creates the space for this compassion to arise naturally. When the mind stops judging, the body feels safe enough to let go. This safety is crucial for healing trauma. Trauma is not resolved by understanding alone. It is resolved when the body learns that the danger has passed. Silence communicates this message more effectively than words. In silence, the present moment becomes tangible. The body realizes it is here, now, and safe. This realization is profoundly healing. As this awareness stabilizes, daily life begins to change. You may notice improved digestion, deeper sleep, fewer stress-related symptoms. You may feel more grounded, less reactive, more resilient. These changes are not dramatic at first. They are subtle, cumulative, and lasting. The Buddha described this as walking the middle path, not chasing pleasure, not fleeing discomfort, allowing life to unfold with balance. Silence is the foundation of this path. In the final part of this journey, we will explore how to bring silence into everyday life without withdrawing from the world, how to live, work, and relate from a place of inner stillness, and how silence becomes not something you practice, but something you carry within you. Healing does not end in silence. It begins there. And from that beginning, a wiser way of living naturally unfolds. There is a quiet fear many people carry when they first touch real silence. The fear is not of stillness itself, but of losing their place in the world. They wonder if becoming calm will make them less driven, less ambitious, less alive. The Buddha understood this fear well. He did not teach silence as retreat from life, but as a way to meet life without being consumed by it. True silence does not pull you away from the world. It changes how you stand within it. When silence becomes familiar, it begins to move with you. It shows up in the pause before you speak, in the breath you take before reacting, in the space between an emotion and the story you once told about it. This is where wisdom lives. not in withdrawal, but in response. Modern psychology calls this emotional regulation. Ancient wisdom simply called it awareness. A mind rooted in silence does not need to dominate a conversation to feel heard. It listens deeply because it is no longer anxious about proving itself. It does not rush to fill every gap because it trusts presence more than performance. This quality is felt by others immediately. Silence, when embodied, becomes a form of leadership. The Buddha's presence was described as calming to those around him, not because he spoke constantly, but because his stillness communicated safety. Human nervous systems co-regulate. A calm person unconsciously invites calm in others. Silence, therefore, is not only personal healing, it is relational healing. As silence integrates into daily life, decision-making changes. Choices are no longer driven by impulse or fear, but by clarity. When the mind is quiet, it can sense what aligns and what does not. This intuitive intelligence is not mystical. It is the brain functioning without interference. Neuroscience shows that when the nervous system is regulated, the brain integrates emotional and rational information more effectively. This leads to better judgment, creativity, and problem-solving. Silence does not dull the mind, it sharpens it. The Buddha taught that clarity arises when desire and aversion lose their grip. Silence weakens these forces not by suppression, but by understanding. When you are quiet enough to observe craving without immediately acting on it, its power fades. When you are quiet enough to feel discomfort without escaping it, its threat dissolves. This is freedom in its most practical form. Silence also transforms the way you experience time. Life no longer feels like something that is constantly slipping away. Moments stretch. Ordinary experiences gain depth. A simple walk, a shared meal, a breath of fresh air becomes rich. This is not because life has changed, but because attention has returned. The Buddha emphasized presence as the gateway to peace. Silence anchors attention in the present moment, where life actually happens. Regret lives in the past. Anxiety lives in the future. Silence lives now. As this presence stabilizes, compassion naturally deepens. When the mind is not constantly occupied with its own noise, it becomes available to others. You begin to sense the unspoken struggles behind people's words. Patience replaces judgment. Understanding replaces reactivity. This is not moral effort. It is a natural outcome of inner quiet. Silence also reshapes your relationship with suffering. Pain still arises. Loss still occurs. Uncertainty remains part of life, but suffering no longer feels personal or permanent. The mind learns to stay open even in difficulty. This openness allows grief to move through instead of solidifying into despair. The Buddha never denied suffering. He denied its inevitability. He taught that when the mind meets pain without resistance, suffering loosens its grip. In daily life, this means you no longer need perfect conditions to feel okay. You stop waiting for the world to quiet down so you can feel peace. Peace becomes something you carry regardless of noise. This does not mean you seek chaos. It means chaos no longer owns you. Silence also brings humility. When the constant internal narration fades, the sense of a rigid self softens. You realize you are not your thoughts, not your emotions, not your roles. This realization is deeply liberating. It creates space for growth, forgiveness, and change. The Buddha called this insight into non-attachment. Modern psychology might call it psychological flexibility. Both point to the same truth. A mind that is not tightly bound to identity suffers less and adapts more. Over time, silence becomes less something you do and more something you are. It is present even when you speak, act, and engage. It becomes the background against which life unfolds. This is the hidden power of silence. It heals not by force, but by permission. It clarifies not by analysis, but by space. It strengthens not by tension, but by release. The world will continue to be loud, demands will continue to arise, noise will not disappear, but you will know where to return. beneath the noise, beneath the movement, beneath the endless commentary. The Buddha's secret was never hidden, it was simply quiet. And in that quiet, everything necessary reveals itself. If this journey has resonated with you, if you feel a deeper calm, a subtle clarity, or a gentle opening within, honor that. These are signs of remembering, signs that silence is already working. For more transformative wisdom, healing insights, and guided journeys that unite ancient truth with modern understanding, subscribe to Divine and Spiritual 0369. Here we walk together toward peace that does not fade, clarity that does not depend on circumstances, and healing that begins within. Until then, return to silence. It is waiting,